Welcome to Comic Sans, the podcast about comics for those who are sans knowledge. Hello, everyone. I'm Yan. I'm the comics half of this podcast, and with me is...
Nat, as always. And folks, welcome to Season 4 of Comic Sans. We did it. We made it. I can't believe we've reached 4 seasons of you and I talking, and sometimes talking to someone else, most of the time talking to each other. Thank you. Thank you, everyone who has supported, who has listened, who has followed us on social media, who has subscribed to our Patreon, which, if you didn't know, we launched over the mid-season break. We did a couple of bonus episodes, some incredible episodes with comic artists Bonus, Molly Mendoza, Ran Galeno, and comic critic ML Kajera. And for all those episodes, we also released after-show conversations where we talk to those people about their specific practices or craft. And all of those are available exclusively on the Comic Sans /Andas Productions Patreon, where if you become a friend of Comic Sans, you can get access to not only that, but all sorts of ad-free goodness and hopefully more exclusive extra content to come. So, thank you for those who have already subscribed. Thank you in advance for those who are going to subscribe.
Yeah, thanks everyone for supporting us. I like making this show a lot, and what I can promise you is that on the Patreon, I will be putting Nat through the ringer. That is the plan. Nat, what are your thoughts on comics now that we're entering our 4th season?
I mean, it's not good for the branding of this show, but they're growing on me. I do look forward to what we're going to read every episode. Do I read comics in my own time off air? No. But do I read...
Yes, that's the exact question I was just about to ask. Do you read at all?
You'll be surprised to know, ever since I moved to Manchester, I've been reading more.
Is there nothing to do there?
No, I mean, yeah, kind of. I mean, I left my full-time job and I'm freelancing now, so I have a bit more flexibility in my schedule. But also we visited the library and there were some pretty cool books, and so we picked up a couple. I'm reading incredibly slowly, but I am reading more.
What's something you've liked doing lately, Nat? What's something you've been enjoying?
Ooh, that's a new question. Because normally you ask me what I've been consuming lately. We're expanding
Yeah, we're trying to widen the net, trying to get into an anti-consumerist mindset.
Well, you'll be glad to know I'm still playing football quite regularly here. I found a little group. It's quite fun.
Oh, that's nice.
I will say something that I've also technically consumed, but just 2 days ago, I saw Tim Minchin live in concert here in Manchester, and it was incredible. For those of you that follow me on my personal social media, you might know that Tim Minchin is a huge inspiration for me. He is the reason why I decided to start writing musical theatre. You could say he's like a hero of mine. So it was really cool to see him in concert. And then the next day, because he was doing 2 nights, I went and waited there. And then I managed to catch him and we ran to his bus together and he spoke to me for a second. So it was really cool. Anyway, Yan, what have you been doing?
I've been picking up the bass.
Okay, you're not picking up. You've been playing the bass for a while. We've been in a band together for a few years.
Yeah. Lore dump, everyone.
So what do you mean picking up?
Well, no, I'm trying to get better at it. I feel like I've only been fulfilling the bare minimum of what the bass player needs to do, and I'm trying to understand it a little bit better, try to get into the root of it, watching a lot of YouTube.
The root of it?
Like the root note?
Yeah, bass usually you're playing the root note. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, no, I got it. It wasn't for me.
You want to tell everyone, where you got the bass you're playing from? Who you got the bass you're...
I am playing Nathaniel Ma's bass.
Thank you.
And that is not a euphemism. Yeah, Nat did very kindly left his bass behind, and so I've been messing about on it. Currently trying to play all of Fly Me to the Moon.
Oh,
which is a lot of notes.
Interesting choice.
A lot of notes.
Really going through like the dum dum.
Yeah, exactly.
Dum. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, well, it's actually kind of it's teaching me some bits about scales and things like that. Just by doing the physical movement up and down the fretboard.
Look at this man improving himself. Renaissance man. He reads, he writes, he basses.
So Nat, as always, as this show works, for just to remind the listener, I've picked a comic that Nat's going to read. After I tell him a little bit about it, give him a little bit of an angle, we're going to be reading a publication from 2018, published by No Brow, by Tom Haugomat, called Through a Life.
Through a Life. I just want to say I'm really excited, to get back to the thing where we actually read in the middle of the episode.
It's true. It's true.
The past few bonus episodes that we've done with guests, we decided not to put them through that ordeal of waiting half an hour while we go and read a book in the middle of the episode, which, we did do to one of our guests. We're not going to say who, and we've since learned that that's not a good thing to do. So we had been pre-reading for those bonus episodes. But now we're back to the good stuff. We're back to good old chronology, good old linear learning.
Well, Nat, you're going to be less excited when I tell you that you're reading the whole thing, but let's get back to that later. Don't worry. Don't stress. Trust.
I mean, you're going to be here for a while then.
Have some faith in the process. He'll be fine. Tom Haugomat is a French author, illustrator, and designer. He's an incredible artist who works with geometry and color to create some incredibly beautiful images with this book, which you're going to see when you open it. But I've actually picked Through a Life because I want to talk about something else. Now, Nat, open it up, okay? Just open up to a random page, and just look at it. Nat, if you take a look at the left-hand side primarily right now, right?
Okay.
You see what? Blocky figures, faceless, pastel colors.
Yep.
Does this style remind you of anything? It's something that you've been exposed to for the last few years, perhaps while looking at reels.
Oh, like AI art?
Not necessarily AI art, but something akin to that. Have you ever heard of the term corporate Memphis?
No.
Oh, okay. We're going to have a little lesson. Okay. So corporate Memphis is also sometimes called global homo, or what should make it clear to you, corporate textile.
Ah, okay. This is like the kind of thing you see like on Canva, like the figures on like Canva art
or
and like
Facebook.
Yeah. Or like even updated Microsoft Word, you have these like these new like little sticker
figures
thingies.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm so sorry I said AI art. I'm sorry, Tom. I didn't mean to imply that your art was like AI art. That was just the first thing that actually came to my mind when Yan said reels. Just want to clarify. We are very against AI art.
We are absolutely against AI art. Yeah.
Art is, as Tim Minchin very wonderfully put it in his concert 2 nights ago, he said he believes that art is not just content, it's content plus intent. And AI will never have intent.
That's perfect for what we're doing today, Nat. That is actually perfect. Content plus intent. Yeah. Okay, let me explain why. Okay. So corporate Memphis refers to a style of design used primarily by big tech in the new age. It's defined by flat images to craft pretty simple, accessible, in quotation marks, figures. Its modern origins, in this textile at least, in this current context in which we understand it, comes from Facebook in 2017.
Really?
And they hired this design agency called Buck to craft their new house style, which they called Allegria, which means joy. And that ended up becoming the dominant vocabulary for visual design within Facebook.
Okay. Allegria, it's not a font, right? This is like a house style.
It's like the house style. It's like how the figures are meant to look, right? They're supposed to be stretchy. They're supposed to be like, the heads are small. They're usually faceless. Sometimes the skin is blue, right? These are all just little hallmarks of Allegria. And what happened next after that is, right, because Facebook has such a dominant hold on the digital space, and then you combine that with Adobe Tech, which allowed vector art to become even more accessible and actually cheaper for clients who are hiring people. Because of this dominance, right, because of its accessibility, its purported accessibility, right, we end up with this digital world of design that's been homogenized into these stretchy, often bland figures.
Therefore, global homo.
Global homogenization.
Doesn't refer to like us, because I was thinking like that was sort of like a
very like traveled gay man.
Mr. Yeah, like a pit bull, Mr. Worldwide, but gay.
We don't know. He could be gay. I think, when you think of corporate Memphis or you show a picture of corporate Memphis to most people, their response is usually they're not happy with it. It's actually something that many people have come to categorically hate because of what it's come to symbolize, which is a meaningless universality, empty in form and content. But that's actually not a fair assessment. Flat art, which is what some art scholars argue should be used to describe an over-encompassing style in which corporate Memphis falls into. Flat art has its own legacy, right? In Art Deco, there's the French designer A.M. Cassandra, even the Memphis group, where the word Memphis, corporate Memphis comes from, was this group of Italian designers in the 1980s.
Oh, Italian?
Yes.
Is there a Memphis in Italy?
No, actually, it's actually quite a crazy story when I was doing the research for this. It's these group of designers who wanted to like start their own movement. Like they wanted to defy what people understood as conventional design. And when the group assembled during one of their meetings, a song by Bob Dylan was playing. And the song title has the word Memphis in it.
Wow. So they just were like, they just grabbed onto that and then...
Talk about global homo. But in a good way. I mean, but also like flat art, right? That's what the cave paintings are.
Sure.
So to say flat art is like not good, that's actually not the problem. The problem is that we've been inundated with this corporate textile and that we've made it synonymous with an entire vocabulary of physical and visual representation. As part of the research, I ended up on a Twitter thread, but it was like 40 tweets long, by an artist named Michelle Rosenthal, who was going through the art history of and the lineage of corporate Memphis to get us to where we are today and to show the value in it. But I think we don't even have to go back to find its value. We can see it right here in this book, in Through a Life. It's a book that's got blocky characters, bright colors, and plays with geometry. All things that are signatures of corporate Memphis, but it does so with soul, something Facebook and Instagram and Slack and Canva cannot hope to offer.
It's content plus intent.
Yes, exactly. Because the mega tech companies don't care about who's looking. That doesn't matter to them. And Through a Life is entirely a comic about a man who is looking. Haugomat has said that the book was majorly inspired by his favorite toy growing up, which is a stereoscope in his great-grandmother's house.
Stereoscope? What is that?
A stereoscope is, quote, an optical device that presents two slightly offset images to the left and right eyes, creating the illusion of a single three-dimensional image. So you've definitely used one of these, Nat. It's like a little like toy thing. You put the image into a slider, right? And then you click it and then it'll rotate around. But the essence of the stereoscope is that you look through it and then 2D images become 3D as the different colors are overlaid one another to create a new sense of meaning. That's on display at the most bare level of this book. The images themselves are colors overlaid, creating a flat image that somehow has depth. But there's another deeper level to it that I'm going to let you discover for yourself as you read this book.
Okay.
Now, before you go into it, Nat, I just want to say one last thing. Flat art doesn't mean it's not deep. It just means, like with comics, we have to fill in the gaps between panels. And now here, with flat art, we make our own depth. So, Nat, I'm going to ask you to do the tall task of reading the entirety of Tom Haugomat's Through a Life,
my God,
published by No Brow, which I will now tell you has no words. And we're back, everyone.
Welcome back to me and to you. Did you also read it, Yan?
I did reread it.
Well, actually, you lied. There are words. There are words on every page.
True. Okay,
so
wait.
No, but,
Let's break it down clearly. Do you want to do it now, or do we want to talk about the broad strokes first?
The 5 words, you mean?
Yeah, let's do the 5 words first.
Let's do the 5 words. I haven't thought about them. We're back to being spontaneous. We're back to, no pre-reading, no pre-planning. I'm not going to be able to hit you with some brilliant words the way that I did in those bonus episodes. If you want to see me at my best, folks, you want to see me at peak intelligence, go listen to those bonus episodes. Okay, 5 words. Oh, and it's all me now. I don't split it with you.
It's all
Damn
you.
it.
That's
This
tough, huh? That's
sucks.
tough.
Cycles will be my first word.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of a singular word that can describe what I'm thinking of. Peaks and valleys. No singular word here. So we're going to go with peaks and valleys, hyphenated.
Okay.
We'll go with linear.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very, very straightforward one for this book. We'll go with dreams.
Ooh, okay. Good word. Interesting choice. I like that.
The last word that I'm going to throw into the mix is vision.
Ah, great word.
And that's tying back to the stereoscope stuff. And yeah.
Good job, Nat. Those were
Thank
good
you.
5.
Thank you. Hey.
It feels like you prepped.
Thank you. Wow. Hey.
Highest praise I can give.
Maybe I did. But let's talk about this book, Yan. I mean, the title is as literal as it gets, I realize.
It's Through a Life, essentially, is what it is, right? Is we go through the life of one man, I think from his time in the womb.
In the womb, yep, as a fetus.
About ready to pop, all the way up until the end of his life. And it's this man named Rodney.
Wait, there's a name? Oh, it's on the blurb.
It's on the blurb, but it's also in the book on one page.
No way. I mean, I was going to say, I probably missed like a gazillion things reading this because I was going through fairly quickly, just trying to get it through. So I'm looking forward to all the things I missed and you're going to point out.
Yeah, we're going to get into it. Rodney wants to be an astronaut and Rodney becomes an astronaut. And that's essentially the story of this book, but it's also about, like Nat said, the peaks and valleys of his life on his way there. Now, okay. The most peculiar thing about this book is not its story. Right, Nat?
It's not. Like, there's no twists. I mean, there are, a few things like, oh, that happened, but nothing that would really take you out by surprise to be like, oh, this is a riveting story. But
it's not a plot-driven book, but there is something very special about it, I think, in terms of how it presents Rodney's life. We've alluded to it a little bit already, but how it works is on the left side is Rodney, or a scene from Rodney's life, and on the right side is whatever Rodney is looking at, usually through a different object or obstructed by something. So I actually picked up this book completely by random at the Singapore National Library from the graphic novel section. And I started it, and I didn't understand what was going on at first. How long did it take you to understand what was going on, Nat? Was there like a page when you're like, I get it?
Yeah, I had to read through like the first few pages a few times to kind of, and then sort of the pattern of like, that this is what he was seeing, hence the word vision kind of came into play. Yeah. I think once I started to recognize that, like you said, a lot of the panels or images on the right-hand page are often kind of like, there's like a silhouette of a window frame of some sort layered over the image.
Yes.
That began to become clear to me. Yeah.
That's where the title comes from, right? Because he's not seeing we're not getting the full image of what he sees. We're seeing through something.
Oh, it's through a life.
The first one is one of the few pages that doesn't have a shape, right? It's Rodney in his mother's belly, and then the right-hand side is pink, which, is the embryonic fluid.
Because that's all he sees.
That's all he sees, right? And it's the full page. But the next page is him in the sort of, like, is it like the intubation chamber or something like that? In the hospital as a baby, looking through a little glass hole, looking at his parents who are holding each other.
Oh, and that's why it's a circle.
Because he's looking through this. Even though the whole thing is glass, he's only looking through the hole. And if we keep going, and then he's in the crib, and we see him look out from the crib at his mobile, which is space.
And those lines represent the posts of the crib. I didn't know that.
Right, so there's two
I thought they were just sort
slats.
of artistic, random. Yeah.
And then if we keep going, most of this book can be understood as basically every leaf, right, which is every 2 pages when you're looking at them. The left side is one panel and the right side is one panel. But the shapes that Rodney looks through ends up creating different images, new shapes because of what he can't see. The next one is Rodney sitting on the ground with a magnifying glass looking at a little ladybug or some sort of bug. And then we see the circle of the bug. And then I love this next one where it's his dad pointing up in the sky under the rain. This is when you start to get the sense, oh, okay, he's playing around a little bit. Haugomat is playing around. This is strange because we're looking through the cracks in the clouds in the sky. And there's a biplane up there. And then this is the one where I hit this page and then I reset and I restarted reading the whole thing. This next one, which is when Rodney's looking through the fence. And this is one of the most unusual shapes in the book. It's almost like a Tetris shape.
Representing that hole in the fence.
The hole in the fence. And then on top of that, Haugomat also does a crazy thing where Rodney's watching his mom hang sheets and the white of the sheets is the same white as the page.
And again, creating almost-ish panels, but like not really.
Yeah.
It's just, I to be honest, I'm going to be very, very honest here. I didn't fully register that idea of like the shapes mapping across both sides. I just kind of thought it was a very abstract, like this is what he sees, but I didn't make that. Yeah. So now I'm going to read through everything again.
When Nat said he probably missed a few things, what he actually meant was he missed the thing.
I mean, I still got the sense that it was what he was seeing, or experiencing, or the environment around him. I just never, wow, I missed that. But, it's worth noting that this pattern of like the left and the right, and, Rodney on the left and what he sees on the right, there are exceptions to this, right? We do get some proper 2-page spreads.
Yes, we do.
I think at 2 points of the book, if I'm not wrong.
Actually, 4, at the 4 most emotionally potent points of the book.
Yeah.
We are allowed to see the full page.
And maybe let's take a step back and talk about that arc, that trajectory, and what those moments are. So I think the first one is it one of his parents dies?
Rodney's mother passes away from cancer. The way Haugomat tells that story, where he gradually reveals information to us, I think is very beautiful and potent. The first image being Rodney peeking over into a doctor's room where he's not supposed to be looking, and he sees his father holding his face in his hands.
Yeah.
And then from then on, each time we see the mother, she becomes increasingly more frail and then she loses her hair and she wears a headscarf.
And that's the one where he's graduating and he takes a photo of them.
Yes. But earlier also
Yeah.
when they're watching a movie together.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't register that was the mom. Okay.
And yeah, so this is a scene when the mom is holding Rodney and they're watching TV. They're watching a movie. Nat, do you know what movie this is?
Nope.
Planet.
Can I guess?
Are you going to try and guess?
I was literally going to guess Planet of the Apes. I'm not even lying.
I don't believe you. For the listener, it's that famous shot from Planet of the Apes where they discover the Statue of Liberty. And I think this is actually a very significant movie choice that we're going to come back to later. There are several instances where Rodney watches movies, and I think this is maybe one of the most important ones. And then he goes off to college, and he starts going to parties, but he's still always looking out at the sky because that's where he really wants to be.
He wants to be an astronaut.
There's this one scene where he's looking at the moon outside of a party, and then the next page is the first 2-page spread of the whole book.
And it's this beautiful kind of like sunset, I would say. Yeah, it is a sunset. Yeah. But just done in this really interesting way of like this layer of black, a layer of red, a layer of like pale yellow. And then in the foreground, you have a church. And then the next page, we zoom into the church and the cross at the top of the church. And then we turn the page, and this is such a beautiful page.
I love this page, yeah.
This third 2-page spread of just like, I don't even know where this is relative to the church. There weren't any specific trees in those first 2 pages, but we just get this.
Well, Nat, you're going to discover where it is in a second. But let's describe the image first.
Okay, it's a close-up of tree branches and this beautiful little bird. I want to say like a swallow of some sort, red-breasted, just sitting on a branch, perching on a branch with white flowers and red leaves. And then I turn the page. Oh, yes. You're right. It's right there. Yeah, we're back to the pattern of Rodney on the left and his father standing in front of their mother's coffin. And then Rodney's looking up at the window of the church. And through that window, then we see the bird perched on that branch.
And this is another one of those moments when I was like, oh, okay, I think I see what this book is actually about. Right? Because Rodney seems to feel nothing in this moment.
Interesting that you got that, just because he's looking up.
That's what I get. I get from, well, or rather, I take it back. Not that he's feeling nothing, but that he's still looking elsewhere.
But it's just a snapshot. I'm very charitable to Rodney.
You are. You seem to be. I don't mean it as a condemnation of the character.
Sure.
But I do think that is the thing that Tom Haugomat is getting at, which is that this guy's always looking elsewhere than where he actually is.
Right. He's not living in the present.
He's almost unable to do it. He's this dream of his, which to become an astronaut, which is one of the most difficult things a person can do, is almost all-consuming. Yeah, let's keep going through these 2-page spreads because I think that's a great way to sort of sum up the book. Well, Rodney becomes an astronaut, right?
Yeah, he does it. The man achieves his dream.
And he meets his wife at his training camp.
You know, I wrote a song when I was 10 called When You Accomplish Your Dreams.
And what do you want me to do with this?
I just thought,
what do you want me to do with this?
This would be a really good soundtrack for this book. You know, I just want to put it out there. If anyone wants to make a movie of Through a Life, please consider When You Accomplish Your Dreams by Nathaniel Ma.
Or if you want to listen to that song while you listen to this episode and you have the rare MP3 of When You Accomplish Your Dreams.
It's on my YouTube channel somewhere in one of my videos where I talk about my life. You can go look for that. Anyway, okay, he becomes an astronaut. He works for NASA. I mean, I thought this was really cool. I didn't know that astronauts
trained underwater. Yes.
Like that. I mean, yeah, that's so cool. I guess that makes sense because zero gravity and
it's also the increased pressure in the suit because essentially a spacesuit is a scuba suit. Ish. And then he goes into space. And this takes us to our 2-page spreads, which is the launch, him working on a little satellite, the shuttle from above, and then one of my favorite images of the whole book, which actually kind of returns us to our format of left and right.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I love this spread.
Yeah, where Rodney's floating.
This one really took my breath away.
I love this, man.
I mean, yeah, I really paused on this one and I was like, whoa.
Describe it to our listener now.
We're back to the 2-page spreads. Well, at least we were in the preceding pages. And then we get to this, and this is what you were saying about, it's kind of a return to the...
Kind of though, but not really though, right?
Yeah. Kind of, but not really. But also maybe, you know, because on the left, basically, you have Rodney in an astronaut suit floating in space, tethered to the spaceship. On the right, it's just black. Pure black with some stars. You could either see it as sort of just the extension of space across both pages, or you could see it as literally what Rodney is seeing and what he's looking at, which is nothingness.
The grand expanse of nothingness, right?
Yeah. I guess if you wanted to be pedantic about it, if it was following the pattern, it will be framed within his astronaut helmet lens or whatever. But we don't know what the peripheral version on that is like. Maybe you can see everything.
No, see, but that's actually an interesting point that you've brought up, Nat, because I do want to point out why the 2-page spreads feel so special also is because Haugomat uses so much white space in his regular format.
Oh, in the regular format.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when Nat and I are describing these scenes, what you actually get is really just the scene we're describing, which is like only the essential information. If it's Rodney taking a bath, it's just Rodney in the bathtub. It's not the bathroom. It's not the house.
Yeah.
And on the other side...
Everything else is white.
Everything else is white. On the other side, the perspective is also just really narrow and shrinking on, and the margins are basically huge.
Yeah. And another thing we failed to mention is that on every of those like kind of patterned or formatted pages, there's always text on the bottom of the left page that mentions just the month and the year, and then the location. Right, so April 1990, Shuttle Discovery, Kennedy Space Center, Cape Canaveral, Florida. Right, but then when we get to the 2-page spreads, all the text disappears.
And time slows down, really, is what happens. Because Nat's quibble just now was that there are words, but then you can kind of gloss over them because those are the words. The words are the date and the setting. But you'll discover that the date is just every year.
Yeah.
And the only time it doesn't follow this like 1 page per year is in the 2-page spreads. And so coming back to this astronaut image, there's almost no white space. There's no year.
Yeah, it's black space.
Time has stretched.
Literally.
Yes, and we're sitting with Rodney in this moment, and there's almost something like the blackness of the right-hand side, the grand expanse of space is so much more overwhelming because we've gotten so conditioned to the white space. It's so much more all-consuming. If Haugomat used the rest of the pages and filled them up to the brim, right, I don't think this page would have the impact it has.
If I could overread a little.
Go ahead.
Having read the rest of the book, and obviously as the listener or viewer, we haven't taken you to the second half of the book yet, but we're about to. I think what was so compelling to me about this page, now that I look back on it, is like going back to the idea that becoming an astronaut was Rodney's dream. This is the fulfillment of that dream. This page right here is like he's literally at the height, at the pinnacle of everything he wanted to achieve as a child, and we're at the middle of the book. So there's whole other second half of his life to go, right? And so it's kind of like, oh, what now? And it's kind of like the idea that people always give this advice, like, don't hold on to your dreams too tightly, because when you achieve it, when you win that Oscar, when you win that whatever, when you go back home and you lie down in your bed, like, you're just going to feel like, what now? What's next?
Now what, right, is really the question.
Yeah, now what?
That must be on Rodney's mind.
Yeah, and I think that's what's on the mind of the reader, because you're looking at this like, oh, he's done it. Okay.
Now what?
What's going to happen in the rest of the book? Yeah. And I think he grapples with that for the rest of his life.
I don't think that's an overread at all, Nat. I think that's precisely what Haugomat is getting at with this. Just to keep going back to the blackness of the right-hand side page of how overwhelming it is. The way I read it is almost as if Rodney has been, up until this point of his life, looking for something to fill his vision.
Vision both literally and metaphorically.
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
There's always been these things excluded from his vision, things he doesn't want to look at, and he's been yearning to go into space so that he can see nothing. It's both a professional fulfillment, but I think it's also like quite a deep psychological motivation for the character. A character who we never hear speak, who we get very little internal insight into other than knowing what he looks at, which to me is just such a fantastic device to deliver a character to a reader. We have to leave the astronaut page. We can't keep staying at the astronaut page. But
I refuse.
We do get to a beautiful, beautiful page, another beautiful spread of the sun rising over the earth.
Which is actually the front cover.
Yes, it is the front cover. And the back cover is...
Little Rodney.
Little Rodney. But not little Rodney, because we've seen little Rodney.
Oh, yeah. Not fetus Rodney. This is adult Rodney, but little in the vastness of space. And then the next 2-page spread is the spaceship coming back down to Earth, and then we go back to the patterns. We have Rodney being interviewed on media while he looks at his wife in the wings, in the kind of backstage behind the camera. We have him welcome home party. We have him sitting on his bed while his partner showers. And then she's pregnant. And it just feels like life moves on, right? He's done his dream. He's achieved what he wanted to, and life is moving on. Baby's born next year. Looks out the window at the city.
If you look at the years of it, right? Because Nat's about to get to it. But in 3 years, we already see that the relationship's fallen apart.
Oh, yeah.
The framing of the image is so interesting. So the baby's born, the baby's sitting on the floor, Rodney's sitting at the table, as passive as ever, looking through the doorway at his wife who is resting her weight on the kitchen counter.
Looking exhausted, groceries on the floor. And there's a sense, oh, she can't do this anymore. And of course, Haugomat is only giving us a snapshot of these moments. Maybe Rodney after this gets up and goes and talks to her. But that's not what we have. I mean, yeah, it's truly, I mean, now that you've mentioned it, it's truly like his head is always in another world.
Yeah, exactly. Literally and figuratively. He's always someplace else. And I think the thing that Haugomat gets at with this book is that looking necessitates distance.
Whoa, say that again?
Looking
necessitates
distance.
Distance.
To look at a thing, you must be away from it.
Interesting. I mean, I guess you're right. But also, if something is too far away, you can't look at it.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Okay, relax. Relax. I'm just saying that the fact that is that this character seems to only be able to look at his life. He's not able to engage with his life.
Sure.
Right? He can't really connect with the people around him. He's looking at them.
Yeah, I think actually a couple pages down is a perfect example of that where, just the next page, sorry, where you can see his partner, his kid is now older, maybe 3 years old or something, and the partner is feeding the kid and he's just sitting just a slight distance away from the both of them and he's just looking at the TV, or I guess his computer screen, which on the right panel we see is showing some news on CNN about astronauts, about European astronauts for Hubble Challenge. And it just shows that, again, he's focusing on the news. He's focusing on Korea. He's focusing on what's happening in the world and not his kid next to him and his partner next to him.
And so this is 1999?
9.
And so in 2 years, we're getting to 2001. This is a page that I have I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'm not sure if I like the choice that Haugomat made here. I see why he did it, because 2001, of course, is a significant year to think about flight, right? Because it's the year of 9/11. And this actually comes back to a little bit of the corporate Memphis thing that I wanted to talk about earlier.
And also, sorry if I can just cut you off, he does also show a lot of the other sort of space-related tragedies earlier on.
Yes.
Like I think a few of the explosions.
He shows the Challenger space shuttle crash, the Challenger shuttle explosion in 1986, and we're coming up on the next one.
86.
Which is the Columbia.
So this is not sort of like alone in
No.
tragedies and stuff he engages with.
Well, way back in like 1968, Rodney spies a plane that has crashed. It's not outside of the book's purview to think about tragedy / national tragedy. So unfortunately, the thing that pops up for me now, having done the research on corporate Memphis, flat art, the ways it can be used and deployed, right? There's actually an artist named Justin Kang who depicts tragic images through corporate Memphis, but in a much more satirical, ironic way. So he has an image of the man who sets himself on fire to protest the Vietnam War. But the man's limbs are like stretched everywhere and the face is really goofy. And it's the really flat blues. And then also one of the man falling off of the Twin Towers. And Justin Kang's point, we can maybe infer, is that corporate Memphis is so soulless that it tries to make everything cheery.
Right.
In its flattening, it basically removes emotion.
And removes meaning and depth.
Almost forces an optimism on it. And so I'm really I'm trying to figure this out for myself now, because I don't think that's at all what happens with this page from Haugomat.
I don't think that's what Haugomat is doing in this book at all.
Yeah.
Do you think he was engaging, because this was published in 2018.
Okay.
Was he engaging with that world and that sort of lexicon and that vocabulary at all, or was it sort of just a coincidence?
So this is something I actually did want to clarify. This is Haugomat's style.
Okay.
I am bringing this lens of corporate Memphis to it.
Okay. Important clarification. Don't come for us, Haugomat fans.
No, but and it's also like Haugomat has said that like actually there's a very rich tradition of this kind of art in French art. So he specifically cites artists like Sauvignon, Black Spolex, and Sambhi, who are part of this generation of French illustrators who have utilized flat art to its fullest effect. I don't think he's at all engaging with corporate Memphis. My point more is that we cannot condemn a style.
Yeah.
Right? You could perhaps look at this and think, oh, this looks like a Facebook ad, and so I'm going to put it away. But my point is that actually, the Tim Minchin quote earlier, content plus intent.
Content plus intent.
Right.
Yeah.
There's such a clear intention through every single one of these pages. there's no way you can view this as some sort of cheap gimmick.
And then interestingly, in 2002, NASA sent some astronauts to space, but not Rodney. I mean, I think clearly he's sort of past space-going age.
Yeah, so it's implied through some other images that basically Rodney's now in this sort of mission control setup. He's no longer the person in the tank, in the scuba suit. He's the person outside the tank looking at the men train.
As we would say in Singapore, he's the Lao Jiao.
Yes. This is pretty sad, I think, this 2002 page, because this is a real photo.
Which one?
The one on the right-hand side?
Oh, I see.
Right, that is actually a picture of the Columbia crew who do tragically pass away in 2003 upon re-entry.
And that's where we get the next series of 2-page spreads.
Yeah.
First one being the shuttle crashing back down to Earth, flames, and then we have mission control freaking out, the next page, and then you can see Rodney standing up, his hand is on his head or his ear, maybe trying to talk to them, listen to something.
The only time we see Rodney on the right-hand side of a page?
Oh, really?
I believe so, actually. I think this is the only time Rodney's on the right-hand side.
You might be right.
Which I think actually supports your sort of thesis earlier, Nat, that this book is about his rise and then, I mean, you could say fall, but the ups and downs of his life. And now we are firmly entering the downs. Just to clarify for our listener, I don't think this is a pessimistic book either.
No.
Right. There's actually a lot of hope and joy. Yeah. That's why it's hard to say that it's a simple up and down. I don't think either of us mean it really like that.
I would say if you want to sort of try to make sense of it and map it, I would say there's like multiple curves.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And you have like the curve of like maybe his perceived career. But then within that curve, if you zoom in, vision, like distance. What do you say? Looking necessitates distance.
Yeah.
If you look deeper or closer or further, there's like mini curves within that curve, right? And that one might be family, and that might be inversely mapped to the career one, if you could maybe, But then there's also like later on with when his spoilers, when he and his partner get separated and then he's spending time with his kid. I think there are peaks. There are many peaks within that, even if you would say overall there's a decline.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the spreads. We have the funeral of the Columbia team. And then, tragically, the next page, when we return to the pattern pages, he left his job at NASA.
Yes.
Or was he fired?
It's kind of unclear. I mean, the fact that the boxes are a little like disheveled, but it's also possible that he just left in a rush because he just couldn't do it anymore. That's kind of how I read it.
Yeah, I think it's ambiguous and I don't think we need to know.
Yeah.
But the point is, that stage of his life, that dream and everything that it encompassed is over.
He's leaving the one thing that's defined him. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we really see like him lost, right? The next few pages are just him lying in bed while his partner leaves the room. He's just looking out through the slats of his blinds. Next page is just him kind of a little bit of a beer belly. But he's also like, what? He was born in 1955. How old is he now? He is also like 51 at this point, right? Yeah, so he's just looking out of the lift as his partner and his kid walk away. And do you interpret this as the moment they walk away?
Absolutely. She's got a suitcase.
I mean, I thought they were going on holiday.
I feel like you maybe can't read context clues. I feel like the book has been very strongly suggesting what this moment is for, 30 years.
I think I'm just a hopeless romantic and optimist. And, I could see there was strains in the relationship, but I was like, oh, maybe she's just taking a break, bringing the kid on a little lakeside retreat just to give them some space. But then later on, when we get
2 years later, 2 pages later.
Yeah, but 2 years, you see, that's a long time.
True.
2 years later, when we see, fully that he's picking up his kid from his partner's house and there's another guy inside washing the dishes. He's the one washing the dishes this time, right? Something that Rodney didn't contribute to when his partner was looking all exhausted at the sink.
Yeah. This is a person who is there.
And then that's when it really sunk in. I was like, okay, she left.
That's when you're like, oh, man.
I wanted to believe.
I think you're wrong for that.
Oh, man.
Because when you think about the things that Haugomat gives us, snapshots, right? But there is a clear sign that this man is not present in his life. Year after year, this man refuses to be where he needs to be. He's always looking away.
I'm going a bit off tangent here, but I'm just thinking about, again, the device that this book uses with the left and the right. We see Rodney and then we see what Rodney sees. There's something about The left being third person and the right being first person. And the space between that is effectively what Rodney is thinking.
I had this exact thought and I was going to bring it up later. But remember, what is the toy that inspired this entire book?
Right, the stereoscope.
Where you look through your left eye and your right eye and the images overlaid one another create a new image. I think that what you're describing is what this book is doing. The left-hand side, we're viewing Rodney third person. And on the right-hand side, we're seeing the first-person view of Rodney. And when we overlay those two images together continuously across this book, we actually get his life. We get his real life. We don't get the life he saw, we get who he was.
So what I'm saying is, do you think we're getting the second person perspective?
I think that's much stupider than what I just said.
Because what else is between the first and the third?
The fourth, I think it's additive.
The second!
Man.
Meaning that we're being instructed. There is a, what is the second person perspective?
It's you.
It's when you say you,
It's when I say you're an
incredibly intelligent person.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I wanted to say.
No.
But you are also right. Stereoscope, yes. New image. And you can choose to believe whether that new image is in the second person or not.
Okay, let's keep going. And this is when the book, for me, takes its truly emotional turn. Which is when Rodney finally kind of goes where he's supposed to go. Right? Which is he returns to Alaska to take care of his dad.
Yeah, we haven't really acknowledged the locations much, but a big part of it is he grew up in Alaska. And then he studied in Alaska, and then he moved to Texas.
Yes, where NASA is. Yeah.
To work in NASA.
And then he moves
and then for a while in Florida. No, but he was in Florida for a while as well, right?
Yeah, Florida is also where another of the NASA bases is.
Yeah. But then finally he leaves Texas, where his ex-partner and child is.
I'm glad you can admit it now. I'm glad you've been able to accept that.
Maybe they'll get back together one day.
You know how this book ends?
In heaven.
Well, I love this. Talking about the astronaut image, this is the counterpoint to the astronaut image in 2013.
Yes.
Where Rodney's father, who's in a wheelchair, is looking through a telescope that Rodney's helping him look through. And it's a full circle moment, right? Because Rodney's father is the one who introduced him to space at all. And it's the rare moment when the right-hand side, if not the only moment, when the right-hand side does not follow the perspective rule.
It's a full page.
It's a full page. It's a full page of space, just like Rodney saw when he was in space all those years ago. But now it's accessible to him here because he's sharing it with someone.
And then the next page is another great one because it's also a callback. Cycles, again, it's a callback to that page where you were seeing the plane through the clouds, through the crack of the clouds.
But this time it's like a Boeing, it's like a passenger plane.
Yeah, because it's 2014.
Yeah, and earlier it was a biplane.
Yeah.
So it's these little details, right, that Haugomat's not slacking off. And then we go back to that same window.
The same church. His father passes.
The same trees in the background. And this time the birds are flying away.
Well, you don't know those are birds.
Nat, come on.
They could be bees.
Nat.
They could be bees.
Context clues, Nat. It's obviously the fucking birds. The one F-bomb of the episode. It's now this episode's explicit because you talked about bees.
There's a reason why there's always the birds and the bees. Cycles. Reproductive cycles. It's all part of this book. Anyway, moving on. What I find really interesting is that, let's talk about pacing, right? Because as we've mentioned, the pages that follow the format, it's one a year, right? But somehow in this latter stage of life, not somehow, it's obvious why, but in this latter stage of his life, things just move a lot slower, even though it's the same duration each time, right? Because when you're younger, and this is true of anyone, when you're younger, every year things happen. You go up a grade in school, you graduate, you get a job, you get promoted, within a couple of years. Things are always moving way quicker when you're younger. But when you're older, it's like, well, what's the difference between this year and next year? Nothing. I just have more of a bald patch, and that's it, which is what we see.
Yeah.
But in terms of what he's doing, he's sort of just living life now, right?
He's actually slowing down and he's actually looking properly now. He's not just looking. I love 2018 when we actually get another example of a cycle of a callback when he's looking at the Polaroid he took when he graduated high school.
With his mom sitting down in a headscarf. Yeah.
But do you notice the difference between this image and when it first appeared, Nat?
Well, this one's in a Polaroid frame, right? The first one wasn't.
The first one was the raw image.
Yeah, the first one was like what he was actually looking at through the viewfinder.
Yeah. It follows the rules, kind of. But Haugomat didn't need to give us the Polaroid of it. And I think that's significant. Like, he's able to look at the full object. He's no longer just looking at the image.
Wow, that's deep.
And I think that's why this last section of the book I find really beautiful, because
What's the phrase? He can see the something for the trees?
yeah, he can see the forest for the trees.
Right?
Yeah,
Kind of,
yeah.
right? That's kind of what we're talking about here. Yeah.
Where his vision expands. And this is part of the reason why I say the book isn't pessimistic, or it's not really like a linear downfall. It's because there's these moments near the end where Rodney's life kind of picks up. Do you want to talk about 2019? I feel like you're not ready to talk about 2019.
No, I want to talk about 2020 because I think it's so funny.
2020 is really funny. 2020 is really funny.
Because in 2020, okay, just to 2019, the dog clearly is going to die. So let's not talk about that. But in 2020, he's like FaceTiming or like Zoom calling like his kid, and his kid's partner is there. And the best thing is that on the little screen where you see what Rodney's camera is showing, it's just, you just see this. Let me see if I can recreate it on our little call
I think you can. Yeah, it's just the eyebrows up.
You're gonna have to watch on YouTube to see that. It's so good, so boomery. Yeah, and then just next, he's fishing. He sees a dragonfly.
He's gone back
on
to
his
bugs,
phone camera,
which is his childhood love, and which for 50 years or 60 years he avoided. He had nothing to do with the bugs for the last 60 years, and now he's returning to.
I mean, you know what they say: bugs are the aliens of the earth. And then he has a grandchild. He gets told of that in the mail, which is kind of sad because he's clearly distant from his family. He has some sort of like cool butterfly house in his garden.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a tragic image in 2026, which will be next year, April 2026. R.I.P. Rodney, because he's holding what I believe to be his appendix or something.
Yeah, he's crouching over, he's leaning over, and it seems something's wrong.
Ah, there's where Rodney is.
It's on the magnifying glass, which is one of the last 2-page spreads of the book.
The last 2-page spread is the magnifying glass smashed on the floor, implying that Rodney dropped it.
And it's his same magnifying glass from when he was a kid.
When he was a kid, yeah, because it's scratched in. It's kind of, and the N is backwards, so it's clearly a kid, unless it's an artistic choice.
And then we see the house in Alaska with his little butterfly shed. And then we see a little butterfly resting on a branch.
And then we see the birds.
Or
the bees. And the very, very, very last page is a plane. Right. And all this, increasingly as we get to the I'm trying to use what Molly taught us. Okay, let me do a Molly Mendoza analysis.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. So you see the smash magnifying glass, right? You see the redness of the bugs, right? It's just introducing the redness to our eyes. Then you turn the page, and then you see the redness in the background of the sky, right? But still the foreground is dark. The foreground is this dark green. And then you turn the page and the redness of the sky expands, right? We're even more zoomed in now when we have the green just in the leaves, and the redness is in the butterfly wings as well. And then we turn the page again and the red is fully expanded not fully, almost expanded, almost covering the whole page with the birds in the foreground and the hills in the medium ground that are black. But then we turn to the final page and the red has fully encompassed the whole page, starting from the little red bug to this. That was pretty good.
What does it mean?
I think it means that he did it. His life is full of color again. When once he craved the blackness of space, I don't know what it means.
No, I think that's I think you're somewhere there. No, I mean it's entirely subjective, but I do think that's a great read of it. That it's colors filled his life again. I mean, I think it could be just my lighting right now, but I think the red is the same color as the sun when Rodney sees it come over the earth in space.
I think you're right.
Yeah. It feels like he was finally able to be. He wasn't just looking. He was.
He wasn't just a human...
Stereoscope? Is that the word you're looking for?
No. What's the thing? We're not human doings. We're human beings.
Man, you're really bringing some bullshit today. It's actually crazy how much bullshit you brought to the table today.
Welcome to season 4, everyone.
Before we fully wrap up talking about Through a Life, I just do want to go back to that Planet of the Apes bit.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's a little trite. I'm not sure if it's worth going back to, but we'll try it anyway. throughout the book, Rodney watches, I think, 3 things. He watches Alien at one point.
Not seen that.
He watches Alien, and then he watches 2001: A Space Odyssey. 2001: A Space Odyssey
Not seen that.
is after he's divorced. And then Alien is when he's in college. And then in 1973, he watches Planet of the Apes with his mom, who's undergoing chemotherapy.
You want to guess whether I've seen that?
I'm sure you haven't seen that. Because it turns
No, I
out
haven't
Nat
seen that.
doesn't only not read, he doesn't watch.
You know what I did watch
What?
recently? How to Train Your Dragon live action.
That's such a random thing for you to have watched.
Really? I love the animated film so much. I think it's one of the best of all time.
Do you know anything about Planet of the Apes? About the original Planet of the Apes?
No.
Well, in the original Planet of the Apes movie, these astronauts go into space and then something goes wrong with their shuttle and they crash land on this planet ruled by apes. And they're so desperate to try and go home. They fight the apes, they get kidnapped by the apes, and the apes want to study them because in this ape world, the humans have lost the ability to speak and they are more akin to the apes we know now. And so they're running around, and then eventually they escape, and then they arrive at the image that you will see in Through a Life.
Which is the Statue of Liberty on a beach.
In 1973. And then on the beach, on his knees, is Charlton Heston. And so this is when Charlton Heston realizes that they actually can't go home because they never left home. They didn't travel in space, they traveled in time. It was Earth the whole time. And so he goes, "You maniacs! You blew it up! Aw, damn you! God damn you all to hell!"
That's very good.
But he's not actually screaming at the monkeys. He's screaming at the humans who destroyed the planet. And so the big twist of the Planet of the Apes movie, which is the reason I think it's relevant, is I think it's the reason why Haugomat picked it for this book, is because the lesson of the Planet of the Apes movie is it was Earth all along. They didn't need to go anywhere else. They didn't need to search. They already were where they were supposed to be.
Just in the wrong time period.
Just in the wrong time period. But I think that's a lesson that Rodney learns throughout the book.
Right. He's already where he's supposed to be.
Yeah, he should stop looking out the window and he should start looking at the people inside the house.
Wow. That's deep, Yan.
Hey, I try.
So how do you feel right now looking at me through this screen?
What do you mean? Like, are you flat?
No, like, are you present?
That's a great question. I think I'm pretty present. Do you feel present?
Yeah, I'm pretty present now reading this book. So I think we've learned what we're supposed to learn.
I have one last question for you, Nat.
Yeah.
And these are not the questions that we usually ask. This is a separate question.
Oh, this is, okay. Okay.
I think Through a Life is a response to a different comic book. What comic book do you think that is?
Asterios Polyp.
You always say Asterios Polyp. No. No, it's not Asterios Polyp. It's another book that you...
Give me a clue. Give me a clue.
Which books have we read have played with perspective and time?
Oh, here.
Yes.
By Richard Maguire.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I think I view Through a Life as a character-driven version of Here.
Yeah.
Right, where Here the main character is the house / the
location.
The main character of Through a Life is Rodney. But the formal device Haugomat uses is what drives the story forward in very much the same way that Here is. So I'm going to end our discussion on Through a Life with a terrific quote from Haugomat in response to the question, what is the best art advice you have ever received?
Ooh, I'm ready.
The quote goes, "The more constraints you have, the more creative you are." End quote.
Love it. And fully agree.
Fully agree.
Fully agree.
And you can see that in practice. This is somebody who walks the walk.
No notes. No further comment. Fully agree. Constrain yourself, people. Give yourself creative constraints.
So usually my question to you, Nat, after we read a book is, would you keep reading? But I made you read the whole thing already.
Yes.
So I think I'm going to instead ask you, do you see my point that I was trying to make with my yant about corporate Memphis?
I think so. I think it's interesting that that's the angle you took, while also acknowledging that Tom Haugomat wasn't necessarily engaging with that in the creation of the book. I think it's an interesting lens through which to understand or analyze the book. Well done. You achieved your purpose. Just like how...
Well, now it's all downhill from here.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything I see is black. Oh, I see the stars.
Black moon.
I'm floating. Nat.
Let me add some window snaps to this frame.
No, just
so
give me the
see.
forehead view again. The eyebrow view. So, Nat, let's go to the pipeline. And you know what you have to do.
1, 2, 3, 4. Pipeline, pipeline. Come on, everyone, it's pipeline time. I've added percussion.
Yeah, you have. You added a little opening, like
A count.
you drum. You
like that?
count yourself in. I don't like any of it ever. So
Maybe next episode I'll add some piano in. That'll be cool. I'll play it live.
yeah, okay, yeah. You could try that. But so to start the pipeline, who would like this book, Nat?
We are changing the pipeline up a little bit, okay? Where we used to do this complicated formula involving X
And Y.
Find X. We're making it simpler, folks. We're making it simpler. We're going to start with who would enjoy through a life.
I mean, on the simplest level, if you enjoyed Here by Richard McGuire, we've already said it.
Yeah, but that's easy. That's too easy.
Push that one aside. Yeah.
I'm going to make use of the fact that we've changed the question, okay? And I'm not
Okay.
going to answer with like someone who enjoys this and
Okay.
whatever. I'm genuinely going to say I resonated with this book as someone very much in a borderline obsessive pursuit of a dream myself.
Mm.
You know, if you don't know, I've just moved my entire life over to the UK, kind of like in a step of faith, just kind of trying to figure things out. And I had this dream to write musical theater, right? That's me being vulnerable, saying that I don't know if I'm going to achieve that. I don't know what's going to happen. But when I was reading this book, it was a very sobering reminder that like often these dreams, as I alluded to earlier in the episode, often these dreams, when you achieve that, the big question that often comes up is what's next, right? And often when you are too focused on that dream, you lose sight of what is around you and what really matters. And I genuinely think that if you are a person who is of a similar ilk as me or as Rodney, and you are a dreamer and you are someone who is a go-getter and goes out there and hustles and wants to do great things in life, I think it's a great book to remind you to not lose sight of the forest for the trees.
Yes.
Something.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah. So that's going to be my answer.
That's a great answer, Nat. I think that's a great answer. Thanks for that. I think I would say something like if you like the buildings roman.
The genre,
The
of like,
right? Pretty vague. But like if you like...
of the character growing up.
Yeah. I mean, because that's essentially what the book is, right? I do think this is a very much a book, a graphic novel that can be the first thing you read if you've never read a comic book before. Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't think this is something that really requires much comics literacy, but it can introduce you to some of the potential and some of the tools available that illustrators and cartoonists use.
You know, I just had a thought. There are many stories that are considered, especially films, that are called slice of life.
Yeah, I was going to say slice of life.
This is more like the whole cake.
The whole damn cake.
So it would be the cake of life.
Yeah.
If you enjoy consuming many slices of life, this will be for you.
If you've ever watched like a biopic and wished it was more adventurous and experimental,
With more constraints.
And more creativity, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and let's go to the second part now.
You've read through a life. What's up next, Yan? What's the next comic that people should be heading towards, other than Here by Richard McGuire?
I wish you hadn't said that last part, because now I'm a little stumped.
It's kind of singular, right?
It is quite singular, but I mean, we would have said that about Here as well.
Yeah.
Right? To recommend something from Here is really hard. And then it turns out that there was something out there when we read Here that would be a great recommendation. No, I think what I'm going to go with is The Sculptor by Scott McCloud.
Okay, what's that about?
Which is a pretty chunky graphic novel by one of the most important voices in all of comics. Scott McCloud wrote Understanding Comics and Making Comics, these really like seminal texts on like what it means to understand and create and engage with the comic book medium. And The Sculptor was him walking the walk. But it's also a story about ambition and a drive and also a little bit of romance. Yeah. So I think that's what I'm going to go with.
Nice. If you're interested in that, and do check that out. And please do check out Through a Life. It's such an incredible book. As I've just demonstrated, you can read it in like 20 minutes.
Something like that.
And then I also missed like a lot of it.
Yeah.
So maybe take a
little bit longer. So reserve 25 minutes.
And also, one more time, if you aren't subscribed already, please do check out our Patreon under the Andas Productions Patreon, where if you become a friend of Comic Sans, you can get access to the after shows that we've released over the mid-season break with our 3 incredible guests, Molly Mendoza, Renren Galeno, and ML Kajera. There will not be an after show for this episode, but we are exploring ways in which we can do more Patreon exclusive content. So we promise it'll be coming.
And we've got some exciting ideas on the table that Nat doesn't know about.
Yes.
Because
that's part of my branding.
Yeah, most of this show is predicated on Nat not knowing what's going to happen next.
So yeah, check that out. If you can't afford it at the moment, that's also okay. I think there is a free tier where there will be some things available.
If you just want to keep up with the show, if you just want to know what's up, yeah.
Yeah, or you can follow us on our socials, on Instagram. I think we're on Blue Sky as well. And yeah, we're really looking forward to season 4. I think Yan and the team has prepared a whole list of incredible comics for me to whet my appetite. Because I'm just craving to read, Yan.
Well, so speaking of Nat's ignorance and the incredible slate, I do have to tease the audience a little bit on what we're going to be reading next. Okay, so I'm going to tell Nat the prompt and the listener, and then Nat's going to take off his headphones, and I'm going to tell you, the title reader.
This is crazy.
So that you can read it before the next episode. Okay, Nat, here's the teaser for you for our next episode.
I'm ready.
You know that show Dexter about the serial killer?
Oh, I thought you were going to say Dexter, like the Cartoon Network
No,
show.
other Dexter. Do you know the other Dexter?
I have not watched it, but I do know it, yes.
Okay, it's about a serial killer who walks among us. You may not have watched it, but do you think you'd have watched it if it was a little bit more Zootopian?
When you say Zootopian,
I won't explain to you. Take your headphones off, Nat. I'm about to tell the reader what we're reading.
No.
To our listener, for our next episode, we're going to be reading Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees by Patrick Horvath and lettering by Hassan Otsmane El-Hal. Nat, you can put your headphones back on.
Okay.
I'm really excited for our next episode. I think Nat's going to squirm a little.
I just hope Judy Hopps makes an appearance.
Thank you for listening to Comic Sans. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for being with us in season 4. And we'll see you on the next page.
See ya.
Accomplish your dreams. It's a wonderful sensation when you accomplish your dreams. Life is hard to say when you accomplish your dreams. You know that there is one thing that nothing's gonna bring you down. Yeah.
Thanks for listening to Comic Sans. This is an Andas Productions podcast hosted by Myle and Nathaniel Ma and produced by Scott Lee Chua and Roshan Singh Sambhi. This episode was audio edited by Maddy Searle and video edited by Kit Ling Leong. Our cover art is by Isabel Fang with motion graphic animations by Konigny Studio, Maryana Rudakova. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to rate and review Comic Sans. And while you're at it, follow us on social media at Comic Sans Pod. Links are in the descriptions below.